On today's episode of Video Marketing Madness, we're going to talk about 5 ways to use graphics in your videos. And today's episode is made possible by freevideoeditor.co. Are you looking to start doing some high-end video editing, but you don't want to spend hundreds or thousands of dollars on high-end video editing tools? Well, we've got one for you that's completely free. It's called the Shotcut Video Editor. It's open source, has all the great tools that you need, including green screen, 3-point editing, and all that other fun stuff. And of course, if you pick up our free video editor today, we even have some extra goodies to come along with it. So check them all out at freevideoeditor.co. That's C-O. And leave off the last M for monster. I don't know why you would, but that's what we'll do. All right, let's hit the music.
He's Ray the video guy, yeah, Ray the video guy. His skill is where it's at, even if he's a little fat. He's filled with video expertise and has so much knowledge that you need. His YouTube ninja tricks can make your marketing so sick. He's Ray the video guy, yeah, Ray the video guy.
And it's the radio show about video marketing madness with Ray the video guy, and I'm Steve Sleeper on the Earn.Show radio network. We've got a Facebook page, we got a Twitter page where we feed lots of good info. We post the show to YouTube. And that's all good. And now you know him, you love him. Here he is, Ray the video guy.
All right. Well, welcome once again to another great episode. And I'm slumming it today. I've got my IBC root beer today with me. And we're going to have a great program where we're going to talk about graphics for videos and 5 ways you can use them in your videos. So should be quite exciting. And for those of you watching on Facebook Live, of course, please feel free to comment on anything that we say. If you have any other ideas that we don't mention, please let us know. And before we get started, we should also say, if you like this show, even if you're listening to it on Facebook Live, head on over to iTunes and give us a nice 5-star rating. If you give us a 4-star rating or less, we will hunt you down. But leave us a 5-star rating, and we will smile and thank you for it. So head on over there and do that for us. And with that, let's talk a little bit about graphics for videos. So, one of the things that I've noticed is that coming from the TV world, which is where I come from news broadcasting and TV commercials and television programming. We use a lot of graphics in those places. Obviously, in the news, we've got lower thirds, and we've got over-the-shoulder graphics, and we've got full-screen graphics, and animations, and logo animations, and breaking news animations, and sports animations, and everything else. And if you watch a lot of video online, you don't see as much of the polish. You don't see as much of the graphical stuff that really makes a video stand out and look more professional. And so I thought we would talk a little bit about that. Now, secret be told, the reason I'm talking about this today is that I've actually got a new product coming out starting tomorrow that is graphics for videos, lower thirds and things like that. So just kind of put that on my mind. And so the first thing I want to talk about is exactly that, lower thirds. Now, this is something that is not it's not that difficult to do these days. And if you don't know what I mean by a lower third, what a lower third refers to is those nameplates that you see in the news where, news anchor Charlie Jones comes on and it says, Charlie Jones, newscaster, whatever, Channel 12. And the reason it's called a lower third is it's literally in the lower 1/3 of the video, whereas the person's face is usually in the top 2/3 from the chest up, and then down in that lower third is where you would put information such as the person's name. And so that's where they get their name from. Some people call them name cards, and they have a few names, but most of the time they're just referred to as lower thirds. Now, where can you get lower thirds, or how can you create lower thirds? Well, there's a lot of good options for you. In most video editors these days, especially some of the higher end ones like Final Cut Pro or Adobe Premiere, they actually have some of these built right into the program itself. So you can actually go in and look for different things and find some lower thirds that maybe they've already created. And you can just bring them in, type your name, and you're ready to go. So that makes life a lot easier. But of course, a lot of the other video editors may not have some of those features, so you have to actually go elsewhere. Now, the number one thing you can do is jump into Photoshop if you have it, make yourself a nice looking lower third, put your name on it, and then just fade it in and fade it out, and you can have a really nice animated logo nice and easily. But another great option is our old friend VideoHive. Now, if you've ever been to VideoHive to purchase stock videos or animated logos and things like that, they also have lower thirds on there, and they've got a lot of them. So you can go in there, you can search lower thirds. They actually have a category for it, and you'll see there's just hundreds of different types of lower thirds. They're all very nice, animated lower thirds. Some of them are very specific for certain things like sports versus news, or maybe just plain ones or nature-related ones. So there's a lot of different lower thirds you can pick up there. And sometimes they even have packs. So if you buy, you're buying a pack of lower thirds, and they all look fairly similar, or maybe they're different colors or what have you. Now, the problem with that is in a lot of cases, you need to have After Effects in order to use them. So if you don't know how to use After Effects, you might be out of luck. However, many of them do come where you can use them as is. They'll just animate on and be completely blank, have no name on them, and then you use the titling tool inside of your program, which most of them have, to put your name over that. Conversely, as I mentioned, we've got a product coming out tomorrow called Vidnimation, and that will actually have a bunch of lower thirds. Yeah, Vidnimation, Vidnimation. And that has a bunch of lower thirds in it. That won't be available until Friday, February 24th at 10 a.m., but that will have a bunch of these lower thirds in there for you to be able to start using right away in your videos.
Nice.
So that's number one, is lower thirds. A great way to add some nice graphics to your videos, make them look more professional.
Where can we get Vidnimation?
At vidnimation.com, of course.
All right. Okay.
Just not today. Tomorrow.
Okay.
All right, so that's number one, is lower thirds. So another location that you can use graphics or animations in your videos is as an animated logo. Now, if you're not familiar with what these are, this would be like at the beginning of 20th Century Fox movies, or I guess it's just, they don't say 20th Century Fox anymore, do they? Whatever they use now. Fox, the spotlights.
Fox. Yeah.
And you see the spotlights in the 20th Century Fox, or the Paramount logo where the stars fly over the mountain, which that's always a one people remember. So that's an animated logo. Now that sounds pretty complex. So, we sit there and go, wait, an animated logo? How am I going to do that? I don't know how to animate. Well, you can do these very simply, or you can go complex with them. And one of the most simple ways to do it is to just have your logo come up on the screen. And if you're using a video editor, you could literally just put it on the screen and have it fade up and fade down, or maybe use a transition so that it moves into the center and then moves out again. If you want to get really complex, there's a lot of great places you can get animated logos, either yourself or have a completed one that somebody else does for you. And one place that we recommend for that is, once again, VideoHive. VideoHive actually has a section called Video Stingers, or Logo Stingers. Or logo stings, I think they call them.
Something like that.
And what they are is pre-made After Effects animations that are done by artists from all over the world. So you get some really amazing things out of there. I've gotten the ones out of there that have, fully animated 3D robots that do things and bring in your logo. I've had ones that were logos in outer space, and it flies in and there's a UFO. I mean, it's amazing the stuff you can do. Lights and sci-fi versions and nature versions and all sorts of great things. So check those out at VideoHive. Again, you do need to know After Effects in order to use that. In fact, you probably need to know After Effects pretty well. But the good news is that there's also a resource that allows you to choose one of the templates from there and have somebody make it for you for a nice little price. And you can do that at animateyourlogo.com. That's a cheap plug, because that is my website as well.
I've heard of them.
Yes, you've heard of them, haven't you? So at animateyourlogo.com, all you have to do is go there. You'll choose the you'll send in your logo. You'll choose the type of animation that you want, and then we put the product together for you and create you a nice animated logo. And if you mention the radio show, we'll even give you a nice big discount. So be sure to do that as well. But that's at animateyourlogo, all one word, .com. And the way that you want to use an animated logo is a little bit different than what a lot of people use it for. When I watch videos, I often see that that's the first thing that comes up on the screen for sometimes up to 8 seconds. Now, the problem with that is, the average person watches a video and decides if they're going to continue to watch it to the end within 3 seconds.
Yeah.
So if you have a 5-second or an 8-second animated logo that starts off your video, well, guess what? People have already made their decision to leave. Now, in some cases, they may say, wow, that's a really cool logo. This guy must be professional, and they might stick around. But I've got a better solution for that. And what we recommend that you do is you start off your video with a person telling people exactly what's going to happen in the video. So, for instance, let's say it's a video for a dentist who's trying to sell tooth whitening. So he might come out onto the screen immediately for the start of the video and say, over the next 2 minutes, we're going to talk about why tooth whitening is fast, easy, and effective. Then, now that they're hooked, and by the way, a little secret here, you might want to write this down, is when we hooked them there by telling them what we were going to say, notice what we said, over the next 2 minutes, over the next couple of minutes, over the next 1 minute, things like that. That actually helps you to keep people on your video. People don't like making commitments to people they don't know. And they don't know who you are. They don't want to make a commitment, this open-ended commitment of watching a 10-minute video. However, if you tell them the video is 1 minute, 2 minutes, 10 minutes, they know going in exactly what it is, and they can make their decision that way, and they don't have that open-ended commitment there. So I highly recommend you start off with something like that, then go to your logo, make the video professional. Now, the reason that you want to put your logo animation into the video is actually not just because it looks nice, not just because it makes you look professional, but it actually helps you to protect your video from people that might steal it. As crazy as that sounds, we've actually had that happen where, some marketer comes up with a crazy software that scans YouTube, finds videos that hit a certain keyword, automatically downloads those videos, and then re-uploads them to their own account. Well, what happened with us was because these videos were branded in that way, we actually had people contact us and go, hey, I don't know if you know this or not, but somebody's stealing your videos. And we were able to get them shut down. And so, it can be a very effective protection method too, because people don't want to steal things that have your logo and your information right on there, because it's going to either get back to them or they're going to call you anyway because you're already in the video. It's of no use to them. So you won't find people stealing your videos as much. So it has that kind of dual purpose to help you, to help make things branded in a way that they don't even want to touch it. So there you go. That's number 2, is to use an animated logo in your videos. All right, so the number 3 way that you can use graphics in your videos is to do an end screen. Now, when I'm talking about this is inside of YouTube, and by the way, we'll talk about a change at YouTube that might help you with this as well. What you want to do is at the end of your video is you want to put what's known as an end screen. Now, typically an end screen can run the course of a few different iterations. For instance, one that you may see if you look up a Saturday Night Live video, or if you look up a Jimmy Fallon video or a Conan video, you'll find that they are very good at using these. You reach the end of the video, and all of a sudden there's a screen up there that has the next video and maybe a couple of related videos on the side of the screen, and a subscribe button. And people can click to one of those videos. They can click the subscribe button. That's an end screen. Now, end screens are fantastic for getting people to continue to watch your videos, to stay on YouTube and to see more. Now, the great thing about that is when you do that, you're actually helping the SEO of the original video, because you're keeping people on YouTube longer, and that's what YouTube wants, obviously, because they run ads. So I highly recommend you use end screens. Now, where can you get end screens? Well, there are a few places. Actually, the program we talked about earlier that we're coming out with tomorrow, Vidnimations, actually has a bunch of those in there. I believe it has 60 of them in there, 60 different end screens for YouTube that you can go in and you can modify and put your videos inside them. So it's a cool little program. But there are some other ways as well. There's a video editor out there. And of course, now the name's going to blank on me just because I'm trying to think about it right now.
That's right. That's right. That always happens. Yeah. I hear you. I feel your pain.
Yes. But anyway, it's a software that allows you to edit videos. We'll put it in the show notes afterwards. And what it does is it actually has built-in templates that allow you to do YouTube end screens very easily, and you can have some fun doing that. So that's another option. Now, the next option is, I believe on Video Hive, they actually have some of these as well. So you should be able to look that up there and be able to pick some of those up. And the final one I want to talk about in the video end screens is actually YouTube itself. Now, the reason I bring that up is YouTube just recently added a new feature that allows you to automatically put end screens with other videos that they can click to at the end of your video. Now, there is a couple of caveats to that. You want to put something at the end of your video to allow that to sit on there, because what you can do is when you add one of the end screens, you can choose how long you want that to be. You want it to be 30 seconds, you want it to be 10 seconds, you want it to be 20 seconds long, and it'll actually have 2 spots or 1 spot, or you've got a few different templates, but they overlay on top of the video. So if your video is 1 minute long and you say 20 seconds, that end screen is going to be on your video for 20 seconds. So the last 20 seconds of your actual video is going to have this overlaid on top of it. So what I recommend is that you actually put something at the end of your video, even if it's just a colored background or an animated background, and then use the built-in end screens in YouTube for 20 seconds. Then you're going to have that on top of that animated background, and it's going to make life a lot easier for you. It's going to look really cool, and it's going to work well. You can even put music behind it. But that's another way to use graphics is for your end screens, and that's a very effective way to do that. So that's number 3. Number 4, animated buttons. Now, what do I mean by animated buttons? Well, imagine that you're making a video that is to sell a new type of dog food. Well, at some point in time, you're going to want to tell people to buy that dog food in that video, usually. And that's where you're going to want to add an animated button, or even a static button for that matter. And what I mean by that is literally the button that you would see on a sales page that sits on a sales page and says, click here to buy now, or add to cart, or whatever it happens to be. You'll want to add one of those into your actual video. And the way that you do that is by, in your video editor, you'll just take whatever button that you have, you'll put it in the video, just put it in the corner or down below, or maybe in a graphic bar at the bottom, anything like that, even on a lower third, and then make it clickable inside of YouTube. Now, if you don't know how to make it clickable inside of YouTube, highly recommend that you learn how to do that. We've got a course that teaches that. I'm not going to go into all the details with that, but suffice it to say, you can actually turn that button that's on your video screen on the YouTube video into a clickable button. People can then hit the buy now button in your actual video and go and buy the product. Now, where can you get buttons like that? Well, you can get them almost anywhere. There's a ton of different places out there that have Photoshop buttons or animated buttons. Places like Video Hive will have them. And of course, since we're plugging it left and right here, Vidnimations actually has a whole ton of these animated buttons that say add to cart, book appointment, things like that. And you can add those into your videos. So that's number 4, is to add buttons to your videos, and then inside of YouTube, make those buttons clickable. And by the way, I should mention, when you do that, we've seen a good 30 to 40% increase in the number of clicks when we do that. So it can be a very effective way of increasing your clicks there. Okay, so the final thing I want to talk about when it comes to your videos and adding graphics is what we call a bug. Now, people might say, what in the world is a bug? Some people call it a watermark. Some people call it a logo, whatever you want to call it. And what I mean by that is adding a logo to the corner of your video, kind of like they do on the news. Channel 12 News, Channel 6 News. It'll have that in the corner that says 6. Maybe it'll even have a time clock underneath it if they're doing live video at the time. So what you want to do is you want to do basically the same thing. And you want to get your logo, you want to shrink it down, and you want to put it in the corner of your video somewhere, either top, bottom, left, or right, and put it into your video. And the reason that you want to do this is because that is going to brand your video throughout the entire process. And so it looks really good. It brands the video so people won't want to steal it. And you can do really cool stuff with that. You know, you could have the logo spin around if you want, or maybe spin around every once in a while, or maybe morph into a different thing. You know, maybe the logo morphs into a different logo and then back. So there's a lot of neat things you can do. One other thing you can do with that is if you take the lower third that we talked about earlier and you integrate your logo into the lower third, you could have, you know, the logo over here, the lower third here, and when the lower third goes away, that logo stays in the corner there. So it's almost like the lower third comes out of that logo and then goes back into it. And that can be a very cool effect to kind of make things look really neat. But it's highly recommended that with any video that you put some sort of logo in the corner, or watermark, whatever it happens to be, to protect that video. If you're doing this for a local business maybe, you may even want to have their phone number right there on the screen somewhere. In some of the things that I've done, I've actually done an extreme lower third, literally on the very bottom of the screen, a bar that goes across with a logo on one end and a buy button on the other and things like that. So there's a lot of fun things that you can do with this. And, you know, all these graphics and treats and tricks that you can do to your video, they're going to not only make them look more professional, they're going to give people an opportunity to click on things, and they're going to make sure that people don't steal your videos. And by the way, with that little logo in the corner, you can make that clickable as well and go back to your website or maybe go to your YouTube channel, whatever it happens to be. And, you know, you can do some cool things there as well. So those are my 5 places that you really want to start using graphics. Now, there's a million other things you can do with graphics, everything from doing actually, you know, totally animated and graphic videos with kinetic text and things like that. But this is with traditional video and some of the areas that you can actually add very subtle graphics to the video to improve it, make it look better, and even add to its functionality. So there you go. My 5 steps, or my five places that you can use graphics in your videos. Love it. That was quite a mouthful of a sentence to try and say there.
But you got it out.
I did get it out. That is true. So
that's right.
And as we mentioned at the top of the show, if you know of more, please feel free to let us know. You know, we'd love to hear more from you on that and say, hey, you know what? You need to use graphics here or there or wherever it happens to be. But those are my 5 places that I think are important that can really protect you. So there you go.
And that's great. Good stuff. And I believe you have a Mindset Matters for us today.
I believe I do. And we'll use our same bumper, but the new format of the bumper, so it shouldn't cause any problems. Now, I say that, and it'll probably cause problems. But here we go with our Mindset Matters. Here we are.
And now, Mindset Matters.
Beautiful. That worked perfectly and didn't have any delay or anything. Okay, so the Mindset Matters that I want to mention today is, once again, we're going back to the world of podcasting. And for this one, we're going to go to This Is Your Life with Michael Hyatt. Now, if you don't know Michael Hyatt, he's a very successful marketer and copywriter and motivational speaker and writer and all sorts of other great things. He's a very smart guy, and he's got a podcast that really can help you in your business with your mindset. So, for instance, a recent episode is The Real Reason You're Afraid to Set Goals for 2017. And another one before that, The Top 10 Mistakes Derailing Your Goals. The One Essential Quality for Reaching Your Goals. You can see a theme here? This is the 2017 theme, apparently, is goals. Accountability is vital for leaders. And just a lot of really great content that's going to help you to get your mindset right, to make sure that you're setting goals. You know, again, it's kind of that, subtly, it's that law of attraction, you know, setting goals, knowing what you want, thinking about what you want, visualizing. And Michael goes through a lot of those things and teaches you what you really need to do to improve your goal setting, to improve your mindset, and to increase your business overall. So highly recommend you check that out. This Is Your Life with Michael Hyatt, available on all the places you would normally get a podcast, such as iTunes. So check it out.
Cool. Very cool. And yeah, that's I've long been a fan of Michael Hyatt, listening to his podcast and stuff.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it's the radio show about video marketing madness with Ray the Video Guy, and I'm Steve Sleeper on the Show Radio Network. And today's podcast made possible by?
Made possible by freevideoeditor.co. Again, if you want to do some of those graphic things we talked about and add them to your videos to make your videos just stand out and look spectacular, well, you need a video editor, and unfortunately, many of them are very expensive. But we have one that is completely free, open source, and has all the tools that you need. And it's available at freevideoeditor.co. That's C-O. Leave off the last M for
Monkey.
monkey. Leave off the last M for monkey. That's freevideoeditor.co. Start editing some videos today and enjoy. And with that, that brings us to the end of another great episode of Video Marketing Madness. And we want you to remember that everything that we talk about can work really well, but only if you do. So go out and take action. And until next time, I'm Ray the Video Guy for Steve Sleeper saying, have a great week, everybody.
He's Ray the Video Guy, yeah, Ray the Video Guy. His skill is where it's at, even if he's a little fat. He's filled with video expertise and has so much knowledge that you need. His YouTube ninja tricks can make your marketing so sick. He's Ray the Video Guy, yeah, Ray